Chapter 833, The Pavilion Master of the Secret Pavilion is shocked. 1. What's wrong, Brother Tianxi? This is all good meat. There would definitely not be any adverse reactions after eating it. Xiao Changtian said as he looked at the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. Ah, Brother Xiao, haha, you misunderstood. I was just surprised that such good meat was sold at such a price. After Xiao Changshan's voice snapped him back to reality, the Pavilion Lord of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets laughed dryly. After all, it's not easy for these commoners. As a mortal, I can also feel how difficult it is for the commoners. Xiao Changtian looked at the Pavilion Master and sighed. Although Tianxi was a businessman, it seemed that he had never suffered much and did not know much about the people. Haha, that's right. No wonder Brother Xiao's business is so hot. Looking at Xiao Changtian, the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets complimented him again. Right, Brother Xiao, it's getting late, well, go back first. After strolling around for a while, the Pavilion Lord of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets looked at Xiao Changtian and smiled. Although he couldn't confirm Xiao Changshan's strength, he could feel that he wasn't ordinary. Aya, how long has it been? Have a meal before you leave. Xiao Changtian originally wanted to keep the two of them for a meal, but he didn't expect them to be so anxious. Ha, Brother Xiao, he'll definitely come and catch up with you next time. Standing at the entrance of the glorious Star Pavilion, the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets smiled and waved his hand at Xiao Changtian. Ah, not good. There's the aura of a demon. However, just as the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets turned around, he suddenly felt a wave of demonic chi brush past his shoulder. As he was the Pavilion Master of the Secret Pavilion, he had inherited the unique physique of the Secret Pavilion. He was very sensitive to the aura of the demon race. Even if the demon race possessed someone else, the Pavilion Master of the Secret Pavilion could still clearly sense that he was a demon race. Goodbye, come and play again if you have the chance. Just as the Pavilion Lord turned around, Xiao Changtian waved at him with a smile. Dash! The moment Xiao Changtian waved his hand, the demon who had just walked over was blasted far away. After Xiao Changtian waved his hand, he didn't pay much attention to it. Instead, he returned to the glorious Star Tower with a smile. What's going on? The Pavilion Master of the Secret Pavilion looked in disbelief at the demon who had just walked past him being knocked down in the distance. Go. Pavilion Master. That fiend seemed to be dead. The great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets looked at the Asmodeans who were blasted far away by Xiao Changshan's palm strike, his face filled with disbelief. Who is that Xiao Changtian? I can feel the strength of that demon. It's not weak. He just waved his hand and that demon died. The Pavilion Master and Great Elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets were in a state of shock, unable to recover from their shock for a long time. They didn't even dare to imagine their own eyes. Go. Pavilion Master, what should we do now? Seeing that the demon had completely disappeared from Qin Shou's body, the first elder of the Prophecy Pavilion muttered. Originally, he didn't believe Master Wanch's words. Even if he had seen Xiao Changtian, he wouldn't have believed that he was a powerful person. However, this time the two of them had thoroughly witnessed what true strength was. The Pavilion Master of the Secret Pavilion was even more shocked. That aura had not only killed the demon, but even his soul had been shaken. If he had not been far away, he would have died like that demon. We were all blind. No wonder we couldn't find anything about him in the files. His strength has long surpassed our understanding. Looking at the glorious Star Pavilion in the distance, the Pavilion Lord of the Secret Pavilion muttered. This Xiao Changtian must be tired of the life of an expert and wanted to try the life of an ordinary person, so he treated himself as an ordinary person. Could this be the legendary simplicity? It was simply terrifying. First Elder, I think you should know what we should do. The Pavilion Master of the Secret Pavilion, who had finally regained his senses, looked at the Great Elder of the Secret Pavilion and said solemnly. Go back and gather the Elders of the Heaven Secrets Pavilion. I want to hold an emergency meeting. This expert might really be our savior. The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets did not place his hopes on outsiders at first. However, after seeing Xiao Changshan's strength, his hopes were rekindled. Yes. At this moment, the Great Elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets no longer dared to be disrespectful to Xiao Changtian. He had never put him in his eyes from the beginning, and he was still so disdainful towards him. He was simply courting death. At that moment, Xiao Changtian walked into the glorious Star Restaurant and looked at Li Jing, who was standing in front of him. He was dumbfounded. What is the meaning of this? Xiao Changtian asked as he looked at Li Jing's sincere face. Senior, thank you so much. Looking at Xiao Changtian, Lai Jing bowed respectfully. No, what's going on? Xiao Changtian still didn't know what was going on. Why did he thank her so suddenly? Senior, just now little Jingxi's family came. Looking at Xiao Changtian, Ruolan could not help but remind him. Oh, I see. Aha, you can rest assured and stay here. Hearing Luolan's words, Xiao Changtian instantly understood. So it was the family of the Lai capital. Seeing his son's new appearance, he couldn't help but praise him. Haha, it seemed that his decision to keep Lai Jing was correct. He hoped that this rich second-generation heir's family could take care of his business. There's no need to thank me so much. Just treat this as your own home. Ah. Xiao Changtian patted Lai Jing's shoulder happily and then returned to his courtyard. I already said that Senior isn't angry at all. Little Jingxi, don't worry. Seeing Lai Jing's lingering fear, Lorraine comforted him. That's right. When you came here, Senior didn't treat you as an outsider. Don't worry. With Senior around, no one will dare to bully you. The white beast said. Senior is really a good person. Lai Jing looked at Xiao Changshan's back and sighed. Meanwhile, in the Scorching Sun sect. Sect Master, you have to control eldest young master well. The first elder of the Scorching Sun sect looked at the sect leader of the Scorching Sun sect and said aggrievedly. Great elder, I've abandoned that unfilial son a long time ago. Even if he did something, don't look for me. The Scorching Sun sect's sect master said impatiently when he saw the first elder talking about Lai Jing with an aggrieved expression. He had long wanted to expel his eldest son from the sect. But, sect master, eldest young master received the help of an expert and his strength has broken through to the sacred sovereign realm. The first elder of the Scorching Sun sect took 2 steps forward and said, if you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 834. Qilin and Estrus, what did you say? His cultivation base has broken through to the sacred sovereign. The Scorching Sun sect's sect master had been indifferent at first, but after hearing that, his face was filled with surprise. First elder, you can't lie to me about this. The Scorching Sun sect master asked in disbelief. I, sect master, do I have to lie to you about this? The first elder of the Scorching Sun sect looked sincere and did not seem to be lying at all. Great elder, isn't this a good thing? Why are you so angry? Looking at the first elder, the Scorching Sun sect master was very confused. Although the leader of the Scorching Sun sect was extremely disappointed with Lai Jing was still his eldest son. This wasn't a bad thing for the Scorching Sun sect. However, why was the first elder acting like this? Sect master, you don't know this. I just learned of this news. After I received the news, I was very excited and wanted to congratulate the eldest young master. But I didn't expect it. The first elder of the Scorching Sun sect was very excited at the moment. When he talked about Lai Jing, he looked regretful. I didn't expect young master Lai Jing to tell me to get lost. He said that he's so powerful now that he doesn't even care about the people from the Scorching Sun sect. He even said that he wouldn't care about you even if you went there personally. The first elder glanced at the Scorching Sun sect master carefully. As expected. Bang. This Lai Jing is simply defying the heavens. How dare you talk about me like that and look down on the Scorching Sun sect? How audacious. Just as the first elder of the Scorching Sun sect had expected, the Scorching Sun sect leader's face changed after hearing his words. He was furious. Where is that damn brat now? This sect master will teach him a good lesson. He's simply lawless. At this moment, the Scorching Sun sect's sect master wished he could appear in front of Lai Jing and beat this brat up. Sect master, please calm down. I heard that the eldest young master has met an expert. That expert is not to be trifled with. You must not be impulsive. Seeing that his goal had been achieved, the first elder could not help but be secretly happy. He wanted to make this father and son turn against each other so that he could take advantage of it. First elder, you've been speaking up for Lai Jing since he was young, but now he's getting more and more lawless. If we don't teach him a lesson now, I'm afraid he might come to attack the Scorching Sun sect next. The leader of the Scorching Sun sect had made up his mind. Even the first elder couldn't stop him. Sigh, sect master, this. Alright then. In the end, the great elder pretended to be reluctant and revealed the location of the Lai capital. After I'm done, well, set off immediately. The leader of Scorching Sun sect didn't hesitate at all because he was very angry. By then Xiao Changtian had already returned to the courtyard. The White Tiger was in the Starry Sky sect. Lord White Tiger. Why are you here? Looking at the kitten lying in front of the main hall of the Starry Sky sect, Master Taoist Wanshou immediately asked respectfully. 10,000 beast. Master said that Feng Ling is missing, and he's in a hurry to find her. It's not convenient for me to appear, so you understand. White Tiger looked at Master Beast Master and said slowly. After Master Wanshou became the sect master of the Starry Sky sect, he looked more and more robust. Yes, sir. Lord White Tiger, I'll handle this matter personally. Taoist Master Wanshou did not hesitate and immediately said after hearing White Tiger's words. I'll leave this matter to you. I'll go back first. White Tiger was relieved to leave this matter to Taoist Master Wanshou. After all, Taoist Master Wanshou was extremely respectful to his master. When the White Tiger returned to Xiao Changshan's courtyard, Xiao Changtian was still confused. Where did Feng Ling go? Oh, roar. However, just as Xiao Changtian was in a daze, Qilin suddenly walked to his side. Roar roar. Alright, what's wrong? Why do you keep shouting? I almost forgot that I haven't brought you to see why you've grown so big. Xiao Changtian looked at Qilin and said helplessly. However, even after Xiao Changtian finished speaking, the Qilin still howled a few times. No way. You can't be in heat, right? Xiao Changtian looked at Qilin and thought of something. He said in surprise. Aya, what should we do? If she was in heat, it would be difficult. Xiao Changtian felt helpless when he saw the Qilin's expression. It was because he knew that he had never seen an animal of the same species as the Qilin. Even if the Qilin was in heat, it would not be able to find a suitable partner. What should we do? Why don't you try it out with a little white cat? However, when White Tiger, who had just returned from outside, heard this, his anus instantly tightened. Meow dash, then he looked at Xiao Changtian and shouted. Just kidding, ha ha ha. Xiao Changtian didn't expect that the White Tiger was right behind him and even heard his words, so he smiled awkwardly. Forget it. Bear with it for now. I'll see if I can give you a vasectomy. Finally, Xiao Changtian looked at Qilin and said helplessly. Oh, roar. Qilin did not expect that he was just complaining to his master, and his master actually wanted to cut off his descendants. It was simply too terrifying. Then in front of Xiao Changtian, the Qilin ran away. At that time, Taoist Master Wanshou received news of Feng Ling as quickly as possible. At this moment, Feng Ling wasn't anywhere else. She was in the whole Gale sect taking care of the crippled Kwangshan. Gather the cultivators of the Starry Sky sect. Well, go to the Violent Wind sect and bring Feng Ling back now. After receiving news of Feng Ling, Taoist Master Wanshou immediately got ready and set off, rushing towards the whole Gale sect. Sect Master. Not good. The sect master of the Starry Sky sect has brought people here. At this moment, in the whole Gale sect, a cultivator hurriedly ran to the side of the whole Gale sect master and said, What? What were they doing here? Could it be that they want to attack our whole Gale sect for no reason? The fierce Gale sect master said in shock. Because if the fierce Wind sect were to really fight against the Starry Sky sect, they would not be a match at all. Now, it was actually the sect master of the Starry Sky sect who had personally brought people here. It was really too shocking. Sect master, good. I think he's here to look for Feng Ling. The man continued. Feng Ling? Wasn't Feng Ling from Phoenix Perch Peak? Why was the sect master of the Starry Sky sect here personally? At this moment, the fierce Gale sect master was somewhat flustered. He seemed to have realized that he had gotten into trouble this time. Is Feng Ling still at Kwangshan's place? The fierce Gale sect master looked at that person and asked. The current situation was very urgent, and he did not allow himself to be stunned anymore. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 835, Hand over Feng Ling 1, That's right, Sect Master. The man immediately replied. At this moment in Kwangshan's room. Knock. You haven't eaten yet. Such little strength. Kwangshan was currently having Feng Ling give him a massage. Over the past few days, Kwangshan had been coming to Feng Ling place in various ways every day. That was because the heavenly lightning at that time had not only broken Kwangshan's legs, but it had also made it so that Kwangshan could never touch a woman for the rest of his life. Therefore, Kwangshan vented all his anger on Feng Ling. He thought of ways to make Feng Ling sad every day. Feng Ling could only swallow her anger. She could see that her master had been using her from the beginning. Now that she had no value, he wanted to squeeze her out. Such great strength. You're courting death. Looking at Feng Ling behind him, Kwangshan said angrily. Kwangshan. Quickly let Feng Ling out. Right at this moment, the sect master of the whole Gale sect appeared in front of the entrance of the Wild Mountain and roared loudly. Uncle, what's wrong? Feng Ling is my woman now. Kuang Shan was startled by the sudden shout of the Gale sect's sect master. Hence, he opened the door and looked at the fierce Gale sect's sect master in front of the door. Kuang Shan had a dumbfounded expression. What are you, my man? This time it was all your stupid idea. We're in big trouble. The fierce Wind sect's sect master looked at Kuang Shan in this state and his face was filled with anger. If it wasn't for this guy insisting on Feng Ling would there be such a thing? Hurry up and let Feng Ling out. I'll deal with you later. The fierce Gale sect's sect master had a face full of anger. Brother, what's going on? Brother? Right at this moment, Kuang Shan's mother rushed over from afar. When she found out that the Gale sect's sect master had come to look for Kuang Shan, she realized that something was amiss. Sister, just protect this kid every day. Now, it was all because of him that the sect master of the Starry Sky sect had personally brought people here. The fierce Gale sect's sect master looked at this elder sister of his and felt vexed in his heart. What kind of time was it now, yet she was still speaking up for Kuang Shan? What is it? The Starry Sky sect. That was impossible. Why would the sect master of the Starry Sky sect personally bring people here? Feng Ling was not wanted by Phoenix Perch Peak. When Kuang Shan heard this news, his face was also filled with disbelief. Wasn't the sect master of the Stellar sect always at odds with the 10,000 Swords Peak and the Phoenix Perching Peak? Why would she come for this person? It's not that you don't have intelligence. Do you really think that the sect master of Starry Sky sect is here for her? Have you ever thought that you offended that expert? The fierce Gale sect master gritted his teeth and said, Zong. Sect master. The sect master of Starry Sky sect had already arrived at the entrance with his men. At this moment, a cultivator ran to the side of the fierce Gale sect master in a panic and said, Damn it, let's go take a look first. The fierce Gale sect master glared fiercely at Kuang Shan before walking towards the door. Not long after, at the entrance of the whole Gale sect. Io, sect leader of the Starry Sky sect, what a rare guest. What brings you here? Looking at the Starry Sky sect master in front of him, the Gale sect master said with a smile. Cut the crap. Gale sect master, I'm here for Feng Ling this time. If you're sensible, hand her over quickly. The sect master of the Starry Sky sect went straight to the point. He didn't want to waste his time here with the fierce Wind sect in front of him. Starry Sky sect master, don't be so angry. Haha, I know that I was wrong before, but now our Gale sect has deeply recognized our mistakes. Don't worry, we'll bring Feng Ling to you immediately. The Gale sect master looked at the Starry Sky sect master like a lackey and said, Hurry up and call Feng Ling over. Immediately after, the fierce Wind sect master said to the people beside him, Haha, Starry Sky sect master, please wait a moment. They'll bring Feng Ling here immediately. Looking at the sect leader of the Starry Sky sect, the sect leader of the fierce Wind sect could only chuckle. After all, although the Gale sect was considered a large sect in this place, it was nothing compared to the sect master of the Starry Sky sect. They were no match for him at all. Moreover, there was such a powerful senior behind the Starry Sky sect. Even if the people of the Gale sect went up, they would not have a chance of winning. Sect master Feng Ling is here. After a while, Feng Ling followed the cultivator over. Starry Sky sect master, look, Feng Ling is still fine. The fierce Gale sect master looked at Feng Ling and chuckled. The sect leader of the Starry Sky sect looked at Feng Ling and nodded before taking her away. Looking at the people of the Starry Sky sect leaving in a grandiose manner, the sect master of the fierce Gale sect finally heaved a long sigh of relief. Fortunately, they didn't attack us. Seems like Kuang Shan is a disaster. After the fierce Gale sect master heaved a sigh of relief, he furiously returned to Kuang Shan's room. This time he was determined to teach Kuang Shan a good lesson. At that time, the sect master of Starry Sky sect was on his way back with Feng Ling. Thank you, sect master. You saved Ling life. Feng Ling said gratefully to the sect leader of Starry Sky sect. You shouldn't thank me. The one you should thank is Senior. If Senior didn't look for you, I'm afraid you could only stay in the fierce Gale sect. The sect master of Starry Sky sect glanced at Feng Ling and said, Otherwise, why would he save the people of Phoenix Perch Peak? Senior. Senior? Feng Ling was so touched that tears fell from her eyes when she heard the words of the sect leader of Starry Sky sect. At the same time, he secretly swore in his heart that he would treat his senior well in the future and would never play any tricks again. In the future, Senior would be his master. If Senior told him to go east, he would never go west. Then, the sect leader of Starry Sky sect brought Feng Linger back to Xiao Changshan's courtyard. You can go in by yourself. I'll go back first. Alright, you should follow Senior well in the future. Don't mess around every day. Looking at Feng Linger, the Starry Sky sect master did not say anything else. He turned around and left. Feng Linger smiled gratefully at him and walked into Xiao Changshan's courtyard. Senior, you're back. Looking at Xiao Changshan's figure in the courtyard, Feng Linger excitedly threw herself into Xiao Changshan's arms. Linger, where have you been these past 2 days? I thought you quit. Looking at Feng Linger in his arms, he said with a smile. Senior, these few days Originally, Feng Linger wanted to complain to Xiao Changtian, but when she thought of her terrible experience, she chose to shut her mouth. It was already his greatest fortune to be able to stay by Senior's side, so he did not expect too much. Kacha. At this moment, Lai Jing pushed open the door and saw Xiao Changtian hugging Feng Linger intimately. I'm sorry, Senior. I came at the wrong time. Before Xiao Changtian could react, Lai Jing closed the door and ran away. As expected of a senior. He started in the courtyard. Lai Jing muttered as he walked. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 836, The Secret Pavilion's Decision, 1. Hey! Before Xiao Changtian could react, he saw Lai Jing running out. Looking at Lai Jing's departing figure, Xiao Changtian could only push Feng Linger away. Linger, since you're fine now, you can stay here. Xiao Changtian smiled at Feng Linger. By the way, Linger, do you know where else is similar to him? Xiao Changtian pointed at Qilin. This guy didn't look like a dog or a cat. This was the first time he had seen this breed. If they were really paired, Xiao Changtian really wouldn't be able to find someone like him. Feng Linger was shocked when she saw Xiao Changtian pointing at the Qilin. Senior. This was a Qilin. Although you feel that this Qilin is very ordinary, it's difficult for a second one to appear in the entire Jade Lake sacred world. How could this match him? Even if he exhausted himself to death, he wouldn't be able to find it. Yes, that's it. Xiao Changtian looked at Qilin and nodded. This, Senior, I'm afraid it will be a little difficult. In the end, Feng Linger said helplessly. Sigh, that's fine. Can only suffer for itself. Xiao Changtian looked at Qilin and nodded helplessly. Even if Qilin was in heat, he had to deal with it himself. Who asked him to look so extraordinary? He couldn't find its kind. At that time, the inside of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets was brightly lit. Elders, the reason why I called you here in such a hurry is because I have something important to discuss. The Pavilion Master of the Secret Pavilion stood in the middle of the hall and looked at the many people around him. Not only had the nearby elders of the Secret Pavilion been summoned for this meeting, but even the elders of the Secret Pavilion tens of thousands of kilometers away had also been summoned. Pavilion Master, I wonder what is it that you called all of us here in the middle of the night? An elder asked in confusion. At first he was prepared to sleep, but he did not expect to suddenly receive an urgent message from the Pavilion Master, so he rushed over in a hurry. He was not the only elder who was like this. The other elders were like this too. Everyone, please calm down. If it wasn't for something important, I wouldn't have gathered everyone. The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets waved his hand at everyone to signal for silence and said, Everyone knows that the demons have become more and more rampant recently. Let's go. The Pavilion Master said loudly as he looked at the silent crowd. I originally thought that this demon would at least take a long time to attack the human world. I didn't expect that hateful demon to actually catch us off guard. The Devil Race's Sacred Lord Demonic Flame said that the Devil Race won't care about anything else. As long as they revive their Devil Lord, they will immediately raise their troops to attack the Jade Lake Sacred World. At that time, our Jade Lake Sacred World will become the world of the Devil Race. The Pavilion Master of the Secret Pavilion slowly told the elders the news he had obtained. What? There's actually such a thing. This demon. It's simply lawless. Hearing this news, the elders present spoke again. This news was simply too sudden for them. In the beginning, although they knew that demons had appeared in various places, they did not expect it to be so serious. Now that they heard what their Pavilion Master said, they realized that the demons were really different from before. Pavilion Master, with our strength, why don't we form a team to attack the demons? At this moment, Elder E stood up and asked loudly. That's right, Pavilion Master. It's not like our Prophecy Pavilion doesn't have the strength. Why don't we go and suppress the demons? Then another elder stood up and asked loudly, Elders, do you think I don't want to? Looking at so many people, the pavilion master of the secret pavilion sighed and said, Although our pavilion of heavenly secrets has earned a lot of money over the years, have you ever thought that we can build a team to suppress the demons with just money? After the pavilion master of the pavilion of heavenly secrets said this, everyone present fell silent. This was because the pavilion master of the pavilion of heavenly secrets was right. The demons had left an indelible wound on the people of the Jade Lake sacred world 100 years ago. As a result, everyone felt incomparably terrified when they heard the name of the demons. Although the secret pavilion had sold a lot of information over the years and earned a lot of money, in the end they only had money and artifacts. As for the demons, even if the secret pavilion offered countless artifacts and gold coins, no one would be willing to go against them. Sigh, it's all our fault for not nurturing cultivators. In the end, the elder let out a long sigh. Elders, don't be so depressed. Just as everyone was frowning, the pavilion lord of the pavilion of heavenly secrets continued. I know an expert now. Although I can't see through his strength, he might have already reached Saint Emperor. What is it? Saint Emperor. The originally quiet crowd instantly boiled up when they heard the name of the sage emperor. Saint Emperor. What a terrifying strength. Even in the entire Jade Lake sacred world, there had not been one in 100 years. But now the pavilion master said that she knew a Saint Emperor. This was simply unbelievable. Go. Pavilion master. Is what you said true? After half a day he still asked in disbelief. I don't think I need to lie to you about this. Seeing everyone's disbelief, the pavilion master of the secret pavilion slowly said. Although he knew that it would be unbelievable if he told the elders about this, the pavilion master of the pavilion of heavenly secrets did not doubt Xiao Changshan's strength at all. With just a wave of his hand he could easily slap that demon to death. Could be seen how powerful he was. Then, Pavilion Master, what do you mean? Looking at the pavilion master of the secret pavilion, the surrounding elders asked again. Could it be that the pavilion masters wanted such an expert to help their pavilion of heavenly secrets deal with the demons? Could it be that the expert was really willing? That's right. I just want to rope in that expert to help eradicate the demons. The pavilion master of the pavilion of heavenly secrets said firmly. But, pavilion master, will that expert really agree? Many elders asked after hearing the pavilion master's words. So, this is the reason why I gathered everyone here today. At this moment, the pavilion master of the secret pavilion looked at the surrounding people with a serious expression. I just want all the elders to do their best to help the expert because the expert has been looking for the spirit tree seeds recently. Pavilion master. As long as an expert can help to eradicate the demons, let alone asking us to help find the spirit tree seeds, we won't complain even if we have to work for him. After hearing the pavilion master's words, these elders immediately said excitedly. This was because these elders were the descendants of those who fought against the demons. Now that the demons were rampant again, they could not sit idly by. Moreover, they were all from the prophecy pavilion. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 837, Placing Board 1. The next day Xiao Changtian arrived at the Glorious Star restaurant early in the morning. Looking outside the Glorious Star restaurant, Xiao Changtian was deep in thought. Senior, what's wrong? Is there anything we need to improve on? Seeing Xiao Changtian standing in front of the door, the white beast asked curiously. There are indeed areas that need improvement. Looking at the white beast in front of him, Xiao Changtian nodded. The plaque of this place looks really old. Xiao Changtian couldn't help but say when he saw that the words Glorious Star Restaurant were peeling. Then, Senior, I'll get someone to get a new one? The white beast replied as it looked at the plaque with some peeling paint. No need. Xiao Changtian rejected the white beast's suggestion. It had been a long time since he had touched a pen. This time he could find an opportunity to practice. What? Senior, then you? The white beast didn't know what Xiao Changtian meant. Did Senior have other ideas about this plaque? Yes, I want to mention one myself. Xiao Changtian smiled at the white beast. White beast, help me find one. I'll hang it up after I'm done. Great, Senior. After hearing Xiao Changshan's order, the white beast did not hesitate and quickly returned to the Starry Sky sect. Master. Does our sect have an empty plaque? Is there a good brush and ink? The white beast ran to Taoist Wanxia's side and quickly asked. Why do you want so many things? Is it what Senior wants? Taoist Wansho guessed as he looked at the white beast's flustered expression. That's right, Senior said he wanted to personally carry a plaque. The white beast quickly nodded. Master, does our sect have one? Senior said he had to hurry. There is, but Taoist Wansho frowned slightly at this moment and said, I don't know if Senior will like those from our sect. However, those in our sect are considered the best in Star Town. I wonder what Senior thinks. Then Master, send it over to Senior to try. In case Senior doesn't mind. The white beast nodded as he looked at Master Wansho. Then, Taoist Master Wansho went to the Starry Sky sect's treasury and took out the best plaque and brush. Master, I'll bring it to Senior now. After the white beast received it, it quickly returned to the Glorious Star restaurant. Why so fast? Xiao Changtian, who had just finished walking around the Glorious Star Tower, saw the white beast walk in with a pile of things. However, Xiao Changtian frowned when he saw the blank plaque in the white beast's hand. How did this guy get such a big red plaque? To be honest, placing it above Glorious Star Restaurant was a little too eye-catching and not very good. However, it was understandable that the white beast could bring it over so quickly. Seeing Xiao Changshan's reaction, the white beast understood. The Senior must have despised this plaque, but it was already the best thing in their Starry Sky sect. You've worked hard, you've worked hard. Sit here and rest for a while. Although Xiao Changtian didn't like this color, he must have spent a lot of effort to bring it over so quickly. He didn't want to be too picky. Senior, this... Originally, the white beast thought that Senior didn't like these things and wanted to take them back. Who knew that Senior would actually accept them? Xiao Changtian didn't do much. He placed the plaque on the table and started to work. Star. Xiao Changtian used the pen in his hand to write the words Glorious Star Restaurant on the plaque. Not bad. It looks much better hanging like this. Looking at the freshly made plaque, Xiao Changtian nodded in satisfaction. As for the white beast, it was dumbstruck. Xiao Changtian had only written one word, but the white beast felt as if its soul had been struck. Fortunately, the white beast averted its gaze after taking a glance. If it had taken a few more glances, it would definitely have been injured. Right, white beast, call Lai Jing and the others over and hang up this new plaque. Looking at the white beast, Xiao Changtian turned and said, Yes. The white beast quickly ran inside and called everyone out. Senior. Senior's brush strokes. This word. How can he be so powerful? It's simply too terrifying. When everyone saw the plaque that Xiao Changtian had just brought up, their faces all changed. They were in the same situation as the white beast. They felt like their souls were being attacked by Xiao Changshan's words. They couldn't even dodge the attack. Why is everyone standing there? Xiao Changtian asked in confusion when he saw that they were standing there without moving. Senior, we have never seen such exquisite calligraphy before. We were stunned for a moment. Looking at Xiao Changtian, Wujiang quickly stepped forward and complimented him. Yes. This calligraphy is the best we've seen so far. After Limitless finished speaking, the few people beside him all echoed. It wasn't that they were exaggerating, but because other than Xiao Changshan's calligraphy, no one else's calligraphy could give them such a huge impact. I just casually wrote it. It's not that good. Xiao Changtian said humbly. If not for the restriction of the plaque, he would definitely be able to write better. Moreover, his calligraphy was not just for show. After that, the few of them spent a lot of effort to hang this newly made plaque on Xinghua Building. At that moment, in the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. First Elder, are you sure that Senior wants information about the Spirit Tree Seed? How much information was left on the Spirit Tree Seed? The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets looked at the Grand Elder and asked. He had already thought of an idea to use the information of the Spirit Tree Seed to ask Xiao Changtian for help. Although he did not know if this method would work, the Pavilion Master of the Secret Pavilion decided to give it a try. Pavilion Master, Taoist Master Wansho definitely wouldn't lie to me. He said that Senior wanted to find 9 Spirit Tree Seeds. Now that he has found one, there are still 8 left. The Great Elder told him everything he knew from Master Wansho without missing a beat. How about this? Let's go and ask the sect leader of the Starry Sky sect for his opinion first. In order to ensure their success, the Pavilion Master of the Secret Pavilion had to make thorough preparations. They might not be very familiar with Xiao Changtian, but if Master Wansho were to step in, their chances of success would be higher. Without hesitation, the two of them ran towards the Starry Sky sect. Yo, Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets, what brings you here? Master Taoist Wansho, who was in the Starry Sky sect, looked surprised when he saw the two of them. This was because people of the Pavilion Master's level would usually not show up in person unless it was an extremely important matter. Even if Taoist Master Wanshou had seen the Great Elder many times, he had only seen the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets 3 times. It was obvious that the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets would not easily show himself. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 838. Intimidating the Demons. 1. Master of the Starry Sky Sect, you don't have to be so nervous. I have something important to discuss with you. The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets said with a smile as he looked at Taoist Master Wanshou. As for Taoist Master Wanshou, he found it strange. Why would an omnipotent place like the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets want to discuss something with him? Haha, Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets, if you have anything to say, just say it. If the Starry Sect can help you, we will definitely help you. Taoist Master Wanshou looked at the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. After all, the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets was not a small sect. If the Prophecy Pavilion owed him a favor, then the Starry Sect would have profited greatly. Sect Master of Starry Sky Sect, you also know that the demons have been getting more and more rampant recently. The demons have recently said that they want to launch a large-scale attack on the Jade Lake Sacred World, and we can't find a suitable candidate to deal with the demons. The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets said everything he wanted to say. Until I saw Senior, I felt that he was our savior. Pavilion Master of Heavenly Secrets, the Senior you mentioned, could it be a Senior I know? Taoist Master Wanshou finally understood what the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets meant. The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets wanted Senior to help him fight the demons. Pavilion Master, this isn't a small matter. The expression of the Pavilion Master of the Prophecy Pavilion, Taoist Wanshou, became serious. It has to be known that Senior originally came to this place because he didn't want to expose his strength, nor did he want to be in the limelight. Now that the secret pavilion wants to invite Senior to fight the demon race, Senior probably won't be willing. Starry Sky Sect Master, I know that this matter is very sudden, but now that the demon race's power is growing day by day, we can't sit idly by anymore. The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets sighed. Sigh, I don't have any say in this matter. How about this? They'll go with you to ask Senior. Taoist Master Wanshou was also very helpless. After all, if the devil race really took down the Jade Lake Sacred World, no one in the Jade Lake Sacred World would have an easy time. Following that, Taoist Master Wanshou led the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets and the Great Elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets towards the Glorious Star Pavilion. After a while, the few of them stood in front of Xinghua Restaurant. This word. Looking at the huge words on the huge plaque that had just been installed in the Glorious Star Restaurant, their faces were filled with indescribable shock. This is definitely Senior's doing. Simply too shocking. The few of them looked at the big words and quickly came back to their senses. This was because the 3 big words, Glorious Star Restaurant, seemed to have a huge attack power. Just looking at it made them feel that their souls had been seriously injured. It seems that Senior must be tired of the demons and wants to use this word to intimidate them. The Pavilion Lord muttered. Uncle Wanshou, what are you guys doing standing at the door? Why aren't you going in? At this moment, Xiao Changtian walked up to them and said. Xiao Changtian had gone hunting and had just returned when he saw them standing in front of the Glorious Star Restaurant. Senior, your words are really amazing. Looking at Xiao Changtian, the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets immediately stepped forward and said. Sigh, Brother Chensi, it's all written casually. There's no need to praise me like this. Xiao Changtian smiled. He did not expect his calligraphy to still be so shocking. Just yesterday, Tianxi, who was still calling him brother, had been charmed by his calligraphy today. No, you can't call me Brother Tianxi. You can just call me Tianxi. The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets immediately said after hearing Xiao Changshan's words. He was really bold at the beginning to actually call Senior his brother. Thinking back to that time, he felt a lingering fear. If Senior had been angry at that time, wouldn't he be finished? Fortunately, Senior had a good temper and didn't argue with him. Xiao Changtian looked at the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets and nodded. This Tianxi must be someone who loved calligraphy. Since he wanted to call him Senior, then let him call him Senior. Oh right, Tianxi, if you like it, I can give you 2 more pieces of calligraphy. Xiao Changtian had a very good impression of the Pavilion leader of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. After all, he looked so familiar. It's comfortable to look at, really, Roy? Senior? The pavilion master of the Qingji pavilion was excited when he heard Xiao Changshan's words. Just Senior's calligraphy alone would be enough to buy a lot of information from the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. Why would I lie to you? I'll personally write 2 paintings for you after I find a brush and ink in 2 days. Xiao Changtian nodded to the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. Just 2 paintings would not take him more than a few minutes. Right, why did you guys come together today? Xiao Changtian looked at them and asked. Senior, we have something to ask of you. Taoist Master Wanshou immediately said after hearing Xiao Changshan's words. In that case, let's not stand here anymore. Let's go in and talk. Then Xiao Changtian brought a few people to the glorious Star Tower. Uncle Wanshou, what's the matter? Why are you in such a hurry? Hey, Senior, I don't know if you're willing to do this. Taoist Master Wanshou looked at Xiao Changtian and said seriously. Uncle Wanshou, there's no need to be so polite with me. Just say whatever you have. Xiao Changtian didn't know why Uncle Wanshou was looking for him, and why he was so serious. I'll let First Elder tell you about this matter. Taoist Master Wanshou looked at the Great Elder of the Prophecy Pavilion and nodded. Since he had not revealed his identity as the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets at the start, in order to continue accompanying Senior as a mortal, the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets was not prepared to reveal his true identity this time. Senior, our Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets wants to provide you with information about the Spirit Tree Seeds for free. However, I would like to ask Senior to help me fight the demons. At this moment, they were all staring at Xiao Changshan's reaction. Xiao Changtian didn't expect that they would find him for such a thing. However, I'm only a mortal. I'm afraid it's difficult for me to deal with the demons. Xiao Changtian naturally knew how terrifying the devil was. Just a single demon had caused the Han Mo kingdom to fall into such a great crisis. It could be seen that the demon race was not simple, and he did not have the strength to deal with the demon race at all. Although the conditions given by the Great Elder of the Secret Pavilion were very tempting and it was difficult for him to refuse, he still had to tell the truth. Senior, I know you probably won't agree to this, but we really need your help. The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets had already guessed Xiao Changshan's answer, so he continued. Senior, when the time comes, you just have to follow. You don't have to do anything yourself. Oh, you mean that I only need to listen to the Heaven Secrets Pavilion's arrangements? Xiao Changtian nodded thoughtfully. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 839, A Big Plan 1. Senior, as long as you help, it will be fine. The Great Elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets smiled at Xiao Changtian. If that's the case, I won't be at a disadvantage. Xiao Changtian looked at the people in front of him and muttered. After all, this was brought by Uncle Wanshou. This Uncle Wanshou shouldn't cheat him, right? This way, the words, the way, it's not impossible. Xiao Changtian nodded. He didn't know how long it would take for him to save enough money to buy information. Now he had a ready-made opportunity. Senior, are you agreeing? The Pavilion Master of the Secret Pavilion immediately said excitedly when he heard this. Yes. Xiao Changtian nodded. However, why was Qinci so excited that he had promised the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets? Haha, Senior, I lost my composure. Didn't I agree to help the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets? Looking at Xiao Changtian, the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets immediately came back to his senses and explained. I see. I knew you weren't bad. Xiao Changtian nodded his head in praise as he listened to the pavilion leader's explanation. A businessman actually wanted to know how to fight against the demons. If he did not join, it would seem too inhumane. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the pavilion master's eyes lit up. Could it be that Senior had acknowledged him? One had to know that obtaining the recognition of a senior was even happier than obtaining countless treasures. Great Elder of the Heaven Secrets Pavilion, since we've already discussed it, we can't go back on our word. You have to give me news of the Spirit Tree Seed. Then Xiao Changtian looked at the Great Elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets and said with a smile. Senior, don't worry. I definitely won't go back on my word. The Great Elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets quickly said. Senior was actually afraid that he would go back on his word. He was afraid that Senior would go back on his word. Since everyone is here today, then stay here for dinner. Xiao Changtian smiled and invited them. All right. Their faces were also filled with joy. Since Senior had asked them to come for a meal, it could be seen that Senior had already acknowledged them. After they had their fill, Xiao Changtian looked at the guests outside the door and suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Oh right, in the future he'll sell some desserts. The harvest will definitely be good. Xiao Changtian murmured. Senior, what dessert are you talking about? The surrounding people were confused by Xiao Changshan's words. Because there was no such habit of eating after a meal here because they were already full after eating, no one went to get those things. Desserts are snacks after a meal. They are used to relieve boredom and not occupy the stomach. Xiao Changtian knew that these people had never eaten before. Alright, you guys wait here first. I'll go show you guys. Before anyone could react, Xiao Changtian ran towards the kitchen. Senior is indeed a senior. You can actually think of such a thing. Seeing Xiao Changtian run to the kitchen, the pavilion lord sighed. Then why else would it be senior? Taoist Master Wanshou said emotionally. He was really lucky to be able to know such an expert like senior. Oh right, Starry Sky Sect Master, I wonder what senior is trying to do? Then, the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets asked in confusion. Moreover, there are so many spirit tree seeds. Ha, pavilion master of the secret pavilion, you're short-sighted. After hearing the pavilion master's question, the mobile player smiled mysteriously. Starry Sky Sect Master, you don't have to keep me in suspense anymore. The pavilion master of the secret pavilion was really eager to know an answer. Let me tell you this. Since Senior chose to open a shop in Stardust Town, he must have set up a big chess game with this place as the center. Taoist Master Wanshou did not hesitate as he looked at the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets and said slowly. This was the conclusion that Taoist Master Wanshou had come up with after half a month of guessing. Otherwise, there would be no reason for Senior to stay in Star Town. It was even more impossible to open a restaurant in Star Town. You mean, set up a big game of chess? Hearing Taoist Master Wanshou's words, the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets was excited. In that case, Senior has long known about the demons. This time it's just a test for us? When he thought of this possibility, the pavilion master immediately understood. No wonder Senior had not wanted to help them in the beginning. It turned out that Senior had his own plans. Taoist Master Wanshou nodded when he saw the surprised look on the pavilion master's face. He had taken a huge risk by bringing the pavilion master of the secret pavilion here. He was afraid that Senior would be angry. Fortunately, Senior wasn't angry. Otherwise he would be finished. Just as the pavilion master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets was digesting the news that Taoist Master Wanshou had told him, Xiao Changtian brought a huge plate of food from the kitchen. Come everyone, come and try the dessert I made for the after-meal, double skin milk. Xiao Changtian said with a smile after they took the items from his hands. Double skin milk? This was the first time everyone had heard of this name. Haha, you guys should try it. Then he saw that there were several small bowls on the big plate, and each bowl had a milky white jelly-like thing. This double-skin milk looks delicious. Lorraine looked at the milky white double-skin milk. After Xiao Changtian gestured, she impatiently took out a bowl. Yes, it's simply amazing. Lorraine only felt the fragrance of the double-skinned milk erupt in her mouth after she ate it. Moreover, the double-skinned milk was smooth in her mouth, leaving a lingering fragrance on her lips and teeth. Yes. Not good, I feel like I'm going to break through again. After Lai Jing finished 2 mouthfuls, he suddenly felt a huge surge of spiritual energy from his stomach. Then, before anyone noticed him, he quickly ran out of the Glorious Star restaurant. Boom, boom. The moment Lai Jing ran out, even the sky darkened. Someone is about to break through. Looking at the dark sky above Star Town, many people sighed. Lai Jing quickly ran to a small hill far away from Star's town. I can't let the heavenly lightning startle Senior. Lai Jing muttered as he looked at the dark sky. However, Xiao Changtian was looking at the dark sky outside the Glorious Star restaurant with a baffled expression. What's with this damn weather? Why did it turn dark just like that? Haha, Senior, as long as you want to, can't you control the weather? The pavilion master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets smiled and said when he saw Xiao Changshan's expression. Haha, First Elder, you overestimate me. Do you think these dark clouds will dissipate if I shout at the sky? After Xiao Changtian finished speaking, he pretended to shout at the sky. Xiao Changtian shook his head and left. At this moment, everyone was stunned. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 840, Lila 1. No, it can't be. Looking at the scene in the sky, the First Elder of the Prophecy Pavilion felt as if he was dreaming. Just say that Senior is an invincible existence in the entire Jade Lake sacred world. Taoist Master Wanshou sighed emotionally. It was not because of anything else but because Xiao Changtian shouted at the sky. Everyone could clearly feel that the lightning hidden in the dark clouds disappeared in an instant. And that dark cloud, also in a minute of time, all dispersed. Senior is really terrifying. Fortunately, I wasn't too arrogant at that time. Looking at this scene, Limitless sighed. With Senior's strength, he was probably already an invincible existence. No wonder he had to pretend to be immortal. Because no one knew how lonely it was to be invincible. At this moment, Lai Jing looked at the lightning bolt that had suddenly disappeared with a dumbfounded expression. Could it be that Senior has helped me again? Seeing that even the dark clouds had dissipated, Lai Jing sighed. This must be Senior helping him. After all, other than Senior, no one else had the ability to dissipate the heavenly lightning. Senior, you're amazing. Looking at this scene, Lai Jing could only sigh and mutter. After the heavenly thunder had passed, Lai had also successfully broken through to the sage sect. For someone like him to be able to break through to the sage sect at such a young age, it was simply a shocking talent. All of this was thanks to Xiao Changtian. Brother? However, just as Lai Jing was sighing with emotion, a crisp voice suddenly sounded from afar. Lai Lu, how did you find this place? Hearing that voice, Lai Jing quickly turned his head. That voice belonged to none other than Lai Jing's younger sister, Lai Lu. Brother. Sob, I finally found you. Looking at Lai Jing, Lai Lu immediately threw himself into Lai Jing's arms and started crying. Lu, what's wrong? Did someone bully you? Looking at Lai Lu in his arms, Lai Jing consoled her. Lai Lu had the same mother as Lai Jing. In the Scorching Sun sect, only the two of them were the closest. Although his other siblings had the same father, they did not have the same mother. Therefore, his other siblings had been instilled with the idea of competing with him for the position of the leader of the Scorching Sun sect since they were young. They had been ostracizing Lai Jing since they were young. Lai Jing's mother had died during childbirth when Lai Lu had spoken. Therefore, in the Scorching Sun sect, only the two siblings depended on each other. Brother. His father said. He said he wanted me to marry into the barbarian sect. Lila cried in Lai Jing's arms. What? When Lai Jing heard Lai Lu's words, his expression changed and a nameless anger surged in his heart. How dare he? How dare I marry you to a barbarian race? Lai Jing gritted his teeth. The barbarian race that Lai Lu mentioned was a very remote sect. Although that sect was very remote, its influence in that place was extremely extensive. Therefore, the people there were also very vulgar. There was also a terrifying custom that the older brother and younger brother could share a wife. Moreover, the barbarians treated women as tools to give birth. As long as a woman gave birth to enough children, it meant that she had no value anymore. At that time they would drive her away. The Scorching Sun sect master, their biological father, had actually allowed Lai Lu to marry into such a sect. This was simply going too far. Brother, what should we do? The barbarians had already sent people. Father said that if I didn't want to, he would send someone to kidnap me. It took me a lot of effort to escape from his surveillance. Lai Lu said with tears streaming down her face. Her father's decision was too outrageous. Damn it, Lai Lu. Today I'm going back to argue with him. He actually dared to do such a thing, then don't blame me for not caring about our father-son relationship. Lai Jing said angrily. Oh right, Lu, I'll go back and tell Senior first. Wait for me here first. After saying that, Lai Jing quickly ran towards the Glorious Star restaurant. Meanwhile, in the Scorching Sun sect, Lai Jing's younger brother, Lai Hua, stood beside the leader of the Scorching Sun sect and said with a smile, although Lai Jing has broken through to the Saint Venerable realm, he is still not a match for the barbarian sect. I think, Father, your decision is correct. Lai Hua wanted Lai Jing and Lai Lu to never return to the Scorching Sun sect. Because of their mother's death, the Scorching Sun sect master had taken good care of them since they were young. Fortunately, they were both disappointing and made the Scorching Sun sect master angry every day. Now their father was very disappointed in them. The barbarian sect is too powerful. Even if I didn't want Lai Lu to go, there was nothing I could do. Now Lai Lu actually went to look for her good-for-nothing brother. I want to see what ability Lai Jing has to resolve this matter. The Scorching Sun sect master still looked down on Lai Jing, even though Lai Jing had become a Saint Venerable. At this moment, in Star Magnificent Tower. Lai Jing, where did you go just now? In the blink of an eye, she disappeared. Xiao Changtian asked when he saw Lai Jing rushing back. Senior, I have something to do at home. My sister is waiting for me outside the town, so I want to go back and deal with it. Lai Jing went straight to the point. I see. Since you have something to do at home, you should go back first. Xiao Changtian nodded. After all, who wouldn't suddenly have something happen at home? All right, don't go yet. Bring the rest of the double-skin milk to your sister. Then Xiao Changtian placed the milk into a container and handed it to Lai Jing. Thank you, senior. Looking at the double-skin milk in his hand, Lai Jing bowed deeply. The value of this thing was self-evident, and senior had given it to him so generously. Then Lai Jing quickly left the Glorious Star restaurant. Roar roar. Just as Lai Jing walked out of the Glorious Star restaurant, he saw Qilin standing in front of him. Senior Qilin, I have something important to do. I can't accompany you for the time being. Lai Jing said apologetically as he looked at Qilin. Since Lai Jing had been staying in Xiao Changshan's courtyard, their relationship had gradually improved after Qilin's return. Brat, I know you're in trouble. Aren't you going to take me with you? Qilin looked at Lai Jing and said helplessly. Senior Qilin. Are you really willing? Lai Jing said in surprise. Although the Qilin had lived for hundreds of years, it was still considered a child in the Qilin clan at this age. The young Qilin was playful, so when it saw Lai Jing leave, it wanted to follow him. Of course. Qilin nodded and followed behind Lai Jing. Lai Jing happily brought Qilin to find his sister. Lure, eat some of this double-skin milk and well set off. Lai Jing smiled as he took out the double-skin milk and said, if you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 841, Returning to the Scorching Sun Sect. 1. Brother, what is this? Looking at the double-skin milk in Lai Jing's hand, Lai Lu asked with some disdain. Because the double-skin milk had been badly shaken by Lai Jing in the container, it did not look like double-skin milk at all. In Lai Le's eyes it looked like a bottle of paste. Lure, trust me. I won't harm you. Looking at Lai Le's disgusted expression, Lai Jing said helplessly. It was all his fault for being too anxious. He had shaken this thing to such an extent. Lai Lu looked at Lai Jing's eager gaze and helplessly took a small bite. Originally, Lai Lu had thought that her brother had given her a dark dish. She had not expected that the moment she ate it, she would feel an obvious fragrance. Yes, brother, this thing is really good. Lai Lu looked at Lai Jing with a face full of pleasant surprise. She had never thought that her brother would be able to find such delicious food. However, just as Lai Lu was about to say something, she suddenly felt the spiritual energy in her body surge violently. What's going on? Why do I feel like I'm about to break through? Lai Lu said in surprise as he felt the changes in his body. Brother. I broke through. I've broken through to become a great Saint Master. Lai Lu looked at Lai Jing in surprise. Brother. This thing is so magical. Looking at the double-skinned milk in his hand, an indescribable excitement appeared on Lai Le's face. Don't be too agitated. I already said that I won't harm you. Looking at Lai Lu, Lai Jing also smiled happily. Let's go back to the Scorching Sun Sect now. Then Lai Jing led Lai Lu and Qilin in the direction of the Scorching Sun Sect with a serious expression. The Qilin had concealed its aura from the start. Coupled with Lai Le's excitement of breaking through to the Great Saint Master realm, he had not noticed the Qilin at all. He had only thought that it was Lai Jing's new pet. The two of them rushed back to the Scorching Sun Sect with the Kirin in half a day. Reporting to Sect Master, eldest young master has brought Lai Lu back. At this moment, a Scorching Sun Sect cultivator ran to the Scorching Sun Sect quickly and said to the sect leader, who was sitting in the main hall of the Scorching Sun Sect. Haha, it seems that your young master is not that rebellious. He knows to bring Lai Lu back. On the other side, the great elder of the barbarian sect nodded in relief. Ha, elder barbarian, I've made a fool of myself. Go. The Scorching Sun Sect master said with a smile. Ask them to come over. At this moment, the great elder of the barbarian tribe that the barbarian tribe had sent was the most prestigious person in the barbarian tribe. At the same time, he was also the strongest person in the tribe. Although he was the strongest in the barbarian sect, he was only at the sage sect. However, the Scorching Sun Sect couldn't fight against an expert of the sage sect. Therefore, the leader of the Scorching Sun Sect had to obey the barbarian sect. Father. Why did you let your sister marry into the barbarian sect? I don't agree. Before he could see Lai Jing, his voice came from outside the door. Brat. Since when was it your turn to speak? The Scorching Sun sect master roared angrily after hearing Lai Jing's voice. Last time, he had not settled the score with the first elder for the matter he mentioned. This Lai Jing actually dared to be so arrogant. They really didn't take him seriously. Hey, Scorching Sun sect master, don't be angry. After all, children are rebellious. The first elder of the barbarian sect watched this scene with a smile. Elder Barbarian, I've really made a fool of myself. I didn't discipline this kid well. The Scorching Sun sect master smiled apologetically at the barbarian elder. Father, don't you know what kind of trash the barbarian sect is? Lai Jing also looked at the Scorching Sun sect master angrily. Sigh. Why are you bad-mouthing the barbarian sect in front of me? The barbarian elder's originally disdainful face instantly showed displeasure. Barbarian old thief. Don't think that I don't know what you're thinking. If you want my sister to go, you must be dreaming. Lai Jing looked at the first elder of the barbarian sect with an unconvinced expression. You brat. The great elder of the barbarian sect had not expected that Lai Jing would be so arrogant and dare to shout in front of him. Blazing capital. What's wrong with you? This is the great elder of the barbarian sect. I think you need to be taught a lesson. The Scorching Sun sect master did not expect Lai Jing to say such a thing. Lai Jing had always been the kind of person who would listen to whatever he said, but now that he had returned from a trip, things had turned out this way. This was definitely the senior that the great elder had mentioned, the one who had taught Lai Jing. Barbarian old thief. If you want to take my sister away, you have to go through me first. Lai Jing ignored the leader of the Scorching Sun sect and only spoke loudly to the great elder of the barbarian sect. Leader of the Scorching Sun sect, don't blame me for being impolite. The barbarian elder did not hesitate and quickly jumped to the opposite side of Lai Jing. Zong. Sect master this. The first elder of the Scorching Sun sect, who was standing next to the sect leader of the Scorching Sun sect, was surprised. Originally he wanted to let the father and son fight. He did not expect Lai Jing to be so blind as to provoke the barbarian elder. However, this was also good. He did not have to worry about it anymore. Damn it. The Scorching Sun sect master shook his head helplessly when he saw this. Lai Jing was really useless. He actually dared to provoke an elder of the barbarian clan. Boom. At that moment, the pressure on Lai Jing's body burst forth. What happened? How can you be in the sage sect? The barbarian elder, who had wanted to crush Lai Jing to death, was stunned when he sensed Lai Jing's strength. What happened? Lai Jing, how did Lai Jing break through to the sage sect? Not only the great elder of the barbarian sect, but also the sect leader and the great elder of the Scorching Sun sect were shocked. This was impossible. How long had it been since Lai Jing broke through to the sacred sovereign realm? How did he break through to the sage sect? The first elder of the Scorching Sun sect muttered in disbelief. No one dared to believe that it was just 2 months of time. Lai Jing had broken through from a great sage to a sage sect. This was simply a heaven-defying existence. Even if it was said, no one would believe it. Roar. Brat, you should go and rest. Let me deal with this old man. When Qilin saw this scene, he could not help but go forward to join in the fun. After all, he was here to help solve the problem. Then, what kind of demonic beast is that? Just as Qilin released his power, everyone present turned pale with fright. Kirin. Looking at the Qilin's figure, the barbarian elder's face instantly turned pale. He really didn't expect to meet a tough opponent today. Wasn't the Scorching Sun sect easy to deal with? Why was it different from what he had imagined? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 841, Returning to the Scorching Sun sect. 1. Brother, what is this? Looking at the double-skinned milk in Lai Jing's hand, Lai Lu asked with some disdain. Because the double-skinned milk had been badly shaken by Lai Jing in the container, it did not look like double-skinned milk at all. In Lai Le's eyes, it looked like a bottle of paste. Trust me. I won't harm you. Looking at Lai Le's disgusted expression, Lai Jing said helplessly. It was all his fault for being too anxious. He had shaken this thing to such an extent. Lai Lu looked at Lai Jing's eager gaze and helplessly took a small bite. Originally, Lai Lu had thought that her brother had given her a dark dish. She had not expected that the moment she ate it, she would feel an obvious fragrance. Yes, brother, this thing is really good. Lai Lu looked at Lai Jing with a face full of pleasant surprise. She had never thought that her brother would be able to find such delicious food. However, just as Lai Lu was about to say something, she suddenly felt the spiritual energy in her body surge violently. What's going on? Why do I feel like I'm about to break through? Lai Lu said in surprise as he felt the changes in his body. Brother. I broke through. I've broken through to become a great Saint Master. Lai Lu looked at Lai Jing in surprise. Brother. This thing is so magical. Looking at the double-skinned milk in his hand, an indescribable excitement appeared on Lai Lu's face. Don't be too agitated. I already said that I won't harm you. Looking at Lai Lu, Lai Jing also smiled happily. Let's go back to the Scorching Sun sect now. Then Lai Jing led Lai Lu and Qilin in the direction of the Scorching Sun sect with a serious expression. The Qilin had concealed its aura from the start. Coupled with Lai Lu's excitement of breaking through to the Great Saint Master realm, he had not noticed the Qilin at all. He had only thought that it was Lai Jing's new pet. The two of them rushed back to the Scorching Sun sect with the Kirin in half a day. Reporting to Sect Master, eldest young master has brought Lai Lu back. At this moment, a Scorching Sun sect cultivator ran to the Scorching Sun sect quickly and said to the sect leader, who was sitting in the main hall of the Scorching Sun sect. Haha, it seems that your young master is not that rebellious. He knows to bring Lai Lu back. On the other side, the great elder of the barbarian sect nodded in relief. Ha, elder barbarian, I've made a fool of myself. Go. The Scorching Sun sect master said with a smile. Ask them to come over. At this moment, the great elder of the barbarian tribe that the barbarian tribe had sent was the most prestigious person in the barbarian tribe. At the same time, he was also the strongest person in the tribe. Although he was the strongest in the barbarian sect, he was only at the sage sect. However, the Scorching Sun sect couldn't fight against an expert of the sage sect. Therefore, the leader of the Scorching Sun sect had to obey the barbarian sect. Father. Why did you let your sister marry into the barbarian sect? I don't agree. Before he could see Lai Jing, his voice came from outside the door. Brat. Since when was it your turn to speak? The Scorching Sun sect master roared angrily after hearing Lai Jing's voice. Last time, he had not settled the score with the first elder for the matter he mentioned. This Lai Jing actually dared to be so arrogant. They really didn't take him seriously. Hey, Scorching Sun sect master, don't be angry. After all, children are rebellious. The first elder of the barbarian sect watched this scene with a smile. Elder barbarian, I've really made a fool of myself. I didn't discipline this kid well. The Scorching Sun sect master smiled apologetically at the barbarian elder. Father. Don't you know what kind of trash the barbarian sect is? Lai Jing also looked at the Scorching Sun sect master angrily. Sigh. Why are you bad-mouthing the barbarian sect in front of me? The barbarian elder's originally disdainful face instantly showed displeasure. Barbarian old thief. Don't think that I don't know what you're thinking. If you want my sister to go, you must be dreaming. Lai Jing looked at the first elder of the barbarian sect with an unconvinced expression. You brat. The great elder of the barbarian sect had not expected that Lai Jing would be so arrogant and dare to shout in front of him. Blazing capital. What's wrong with you? This is the great elder of the barbarian sect. I think you need to be taught a lesson. The Scorching Sun sect master did not expect Lai Jing to say such a thing. Lai Jing had always been the kind of person who would listen to whatever he said, but now that he had returned from a trip, things had turned out this way. This was definitely the senior that the great elder had mentioned, the one who had taught Lai Jing. Barbarian old thief. If you want to take my sister away, you have to go through me first. Lai Jing ignored the leader of the Scorching Sun sect and only spoke loudly to the great elder of the barbarian sect. Leader of the Scorching Sun sect, don't blame me for being impolite. The barbarian elder did not hesitate and quickly jumped to the opposite side of Lai Jing. Zong. Sect master this. The first elder of the Scorching Sun sect, who was standing next to the sect leader of the Scorching Sun sect, was surprised. Originally he wanted to let the father and son fight. He did not expect Lai Jing to be so blind as to provoke the barbarian elder. However, this was also good. He did not have to worry about it anymore. Damn it. The Scorching Sun sect master shook his head helplessly when he saw this. Lai Jing was really useless. He actually dared to provoke an elder of the barbarian clan. Boom. At that moment, the pressure on Lai Jing's body burst forth. What happened? How can you be in the sage sect? The barbarian elder, who had wanted to crush Lai Jing to death, was stunned when he sensed Lai Jing's strength. What happened? Lai Jing, how did Lai Jing break through to the sage sect? Not only the great elder of the barbarian sect, but also the sect leader and the great elder of the Scorching Sun sect were shocked. This was impossible. How long had it been since Lai Jing broke through to the sacred sovereign realm? How did he break through to the sage sect? The first elder of the Scorching Sun sect muttered in disbelief. No one dared to believe that it was just 2 months of time. Lai Jing had broken through from a great sage to a sage sect. This was simply a heaven-defying existence. Even if it was said, no one would believe it. Roar. Brat, you should go and rest. Let me deal with this old man. When Qilin saw this scene, he could not help but go forward to join in the fun. After all, he was here to help solve the problem. Then, what kind of demonic beast is that? Just as Qilin released his power, everyone present turned pale with fright. Kirin. Looking at the Qilin's figure, the barbarian elder's face instantly turned pale. He really didn't expect to meet a tough opponent today. Wasn't the Scorching Sun sect easy to deal with? Why was it different from what he had imagined? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 843, The Bone Invasion Realm, 1. What kind of place is the bone-eroding mystic realm? Xiao Changtian muttered as he looked at the information on the vellum. Senior, that place, it can be said to be extremely terrifying. The great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets looked at Xiao Changtian and explained. Oh, how terrifying is it exactly? Xiao Changtian asked curiously. Senior, based on our understanding, many people went in and didn't come out alive. When the first elder mentioned this bone-eroding mystic realm, his face carried fear of that place. That was because he had seen too many cultivators who had gone into that mystic realm. Whether it was the sacred sovereign, the sacred sect, or even the sacred king, they had never come out after entering. However, when he saw that Xiao Changtian didn't seem to be too afraid, the great elder suddenly came back to his senses. What kind of strength was this senior? Even if this bone-eroding mystic realm is dangerous, it shouldn't be a big deal to senior. This bone-eroding mystic realm was located in the northernmost part of the Jade Lake sacred world. It was covered in ice and snow all year round. Because no one had ever come out from it, no one knew how this bone-eroding mystic realm was formed. It was only said that there were many treasures inside. It's actually so strange, hearing this, Xiao Changtian muttered. Since even the first elder of the Prophecy Pavilion said that it was terrifying inside, it meant that this mystic realm was definitely not simple. Moreover, I'm still immortal. It's really dangerous to go in, however, I have to go to this mystic realm. Xiao Changtian thought for a long time but couldn't come up with any good countermeasures. Senior, how about this? The Heaven Secrets Pavilion will send a few people with the strength of the Sage sect to go with you? Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets immediately said, All right. Xiao Changtian was still thinking about what to do, but he didn't expect the Heaven Secret Pavilion to be so generous and willing to let cultivators follow him. With a cultivator accompanying him, he would have confidence in going to that terrifying mystic realm. Senior, please wait a moment. I'll go find someone now. After the great elder of the Prophecy Pavilion finished speaking, he ran back to the Prophecy Pavilion. After the great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets left, Xiao Changtian told everyone the news. Senior, you said you wanted to go to the bone-eroding mystic realm. When Limitless and the others heard Xiao Changshan's words, their expressions changed drastically. How could they not know that place? That place was a place that ate people without spitting out their bones. Ever since the discovery of the bone-eroding mystic realm, countless experts had fallen there. Gradually, even the surroundings of the bone-eroding mystic realm became a no-man's land. And Senior actually said that he wanted to go to the bone-eroding mystic realm. It was simply unbelievable. Yes. The spirit tree seed is in the bone-eroding mystic realm. I have to go and get it. Moreover, the great elder of the Heaven Secrets Pavilion said that he would send some experts with me. That way the mystic realm shouldn't be too difficult, right? Xiao Changtian didn't know how terrifying that place was. Even if he knew, he still had the help of the system. Moreover, the great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets had sent cultivators to follow him. With a cultivator accompanying him, it would definitely be safe this time. Looking at Xiao Changshan's calm appearance, the few people present regained their senses. That's right. Senior's heaven-defying strength was something that even immortals couldn't compare to. It was simply a little ridiculous that they were still worried here. At this moment, in the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets, the Pavilion Master of the Secret Pavilion looked at the 5 people in front of him and loudly instructed, "The few of you must protect Senior well. In front of Senior you must keep a low profile. Even if Senior praises you, Senior is currently disguised as a mortal. You must not reveal any flaws when you go. Also, First Elder, since Senior wants to go to this place, then you should follow first. After all, that place is not a joke. These 5 people were the 5 people who had reached the Glory Sect's strength after much difficulty in finding them in the secret pavilion. Unfortunately, the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets did not have the ability to do so, so they could only find 5 Glory Sects. Although the Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets knew Xiao Changshan's strength, he could easily find the Spirit Tree Seed without anyone following him. But since Xiao Changtian said so, he would send a few more people to follow him. Yes. After the Great Elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets finished speaking, he brought the 5 of them to find Xiao Changtian. However, the 5 of them were engaged in a discussion on the way. They had never seen Xiao Changtian before. They had only heard from the Pavilion Master that he was a very important and powerful person. Moreover, this senior had set up a big flag in Star Town, so he disguised himself as a mortal. Thinking about how they would be able to meet such an expert later, they were very excited and nervous. After a while, they arrived at Xiao Changshan's courtyard. Because Xiao Changtian was preparing to leave, he didn't stay in the Glorious Star restaurant. Big. Great Elder. That looks like the Black Tortoise. However, before they could enter, they saw a black tortoise lying on a rock in the courtyard, sunbathing. Xin Shuangwu. It really is. The Great Elder was also shocked. He had never been to Xiao Changshan's courtyard before. He didn't know that Xiao Changshan's courtyard had such a terrifying immortal beast. Big. Great Elder. There seems to be a white tiger there. When one of the cultivators was staring at the kitten, he saw the kitten glaring at him fiercely. In an instant, his expression changed drastically. That was because that was not a kitten but a white tiger. A terrifying immortal beast that could turn him into meat paste with a single slap. Big. Everyone don't panic. These are all pets raised by seniors, they won't attack us. First Elder said to the people behind him after calming down. He suddenly felt that the degree of terror of Senior's small courtyard was not the slightest bit inferior to the bone-eroding mystic realm. Aya, First Elder, you're here so quickly. I thought it would take a while. Haha, come in first. Xiao Changtian, who had just walked out of the house, saw the Great Elder and the others standing at the door, so he warmly invited them into the courtyard. Haha, First Elder, these are the experts you mentioned, right? Looking at the 5 people behind the Great Elder, although they were middle-aged, they still had the strength of Glory Sect. Xiao Changtian still admired them very much. Yes, Senior, this is the Sage Sect's expert we found. The First Elder said with a smile. Under the gaze of such a terrifying immortal beast in Xiao Changshan's courtyard, the Great Elder didn't even dare to speak. Not bad. Hello, my name is Xiao Changtian. You experts look so reassuring. Ah. Xiao Changtian looked at them and said enthusiastically. Senior, we wouldn't dare. Our strength isn't even worth mentioning. The 5 of them were very terrified at this moment. Although Senior was pretending to be immortal, the immortal beasts in the courtyard constantly revealed that Senior was not a person to be trifled with. Were they there to protect the seniors? Are you sure you're not asking Senior to protect them? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 844, Bone-Corroding Red Grass, 1. Hey, don't be so humble. With powerful cultivators like you by my side, he'll be even more confident. Ah. Xiao Changtian couldn't help but praise them when he saw how humble they were. He knew what it meant for Glory Sect to have the strength of a cultivator. Many sect masters were only at the level of Glory Sect. Now that he had 5 experts from Glory Sect protecting him, he was determined to get the Spirit Tree Seed this time. Great Elder, there's no time to lose. Let's set off now. Xiao Changtian looked at them without hesitation. After all, the earlier he went, the earlier he could get the Spirit Tree Seed. At this moment, in the demon race, Holy Lord Demonic Flame, Xiao Changtian has brought the people of the Qinji Pavilion to the bone-eroding secret realm. A demon reported to Sacred Lord Demonic Flame. He went to the bone-eroding mystic realm? Haha, what a bunch of ignorant things. They actually wanted to go to the bone-eroding mystic realm to find treasures. Sacred Lord Demonic Flame laughed after hearing the demon warrior's words. But this is good. There is something we need in the bone-eroding secret realm. While we are looking for it, we can also get rid of that Xiao Changtian. Sacred Lord Demonic Flame snorted. Because the demon master lost the help of the Han Mo's heart last time, the entire recovery process was interrupted. Now, after recuperating for such a long time, it was only getting better. This time, the demon lord wanted to absorb the bone-corroding red grass from the bone-corroding secret realm. This bone-corroding red grass was not an ordinary thing. This thing grew in the most dangerous place of the bone-corroding mystic realm. Therefore, it was also very useful for the recovery of demon masters. As long as he could absorb the bone-corroding red grass, the demon master would be able to wake up from his slumber. Although they could only speak after waking up, this was a huge success for the demons. Therefore this time the fiend race had to ensure that the bone-corroding red grass was foolproof. Left Protector, this time you will personally lead the people. You must take down the bone-corroding red grass and kill that Xiao Changtian. Sacred Lord Demonic Flame thought for a moment before slowly saying, the Left Protector is very cautious. If he goes this time there won't be any mishaps. The demon god Saintus looked at Sacred Lord Demonic Flame and said slowly, this holy master doesn't believe that the Left Protector can't deal with a human with so many people. Sacred Lord Demonic Flame snorted. At that time Xiao Changtian was walking and stopping with a few people. Because the distance was too far, they had only covered 1/5 of the distance after so many days. Aya, how long are we going to walk? Looking at the endless road ahead, Xiao Changtian frowned and said, Senior, the Holy Moon City is just up ahead. Why don't we rent a flying ship there? Looking at Xiao Changtan, the great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets suggested. There are spaceships? Xiao Changshan's eyes lit up. Those things were all magic tools used by cultivators. He had only heard of them since he came here. He didn't expect that they really existed. Then what are we waiting for? Let's hurry to Holy Moon City. Xiao Changtian was very happy because he heard that the treatment of that spaceship was very good. Not only was there good food on the ship, but they could also enjoy the beautiful scenery in the sky. Just thinking about it made them especially happy. Xiao Changtian was so happy that he thought that he had benefited from the great elder's help this time. He wanted to try sitting on the spaceship. Seeing Xiao Changtian quicken his pace, the others also followed him. In fact, if they used their spiritual power, it would not take long for them to reach the bone-eroding mystic realm. However, in order to accompany Senior they also walked. Not long after, they arrived at the Holy Moon City. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. High-quality St. Deer bones? Sigh. Handsome. Come and take a look at our red warm jade. Bring something that can increase your cultivation. Come and take a look. I'm selling treasure maps. As soon as they entered the Holy Moon City, they heard the cries of hawkers by the roadside. This Holy Moon City is really lively, there are so many people. Xiao Changtian looked at all kinds of things on the roadside and said with emotion. This Holy Moon City looked like it was many times bigger than Stellar Town. Naturally, the number of people here was many times more than that of Starry Town. Senior, let me take you to the place where you can rent a flying ship. The great elder led Xiao Changtian through the crowd and slowly walked to a remote place. Yo. Great elder, why do you have the time to come to Holy Moon City? Just as the few of them walked to a huge venue, a man came up to them and said excitedly. Passing by, I want to rent a spaceship. There's no need to entertain me. The great elder waved his hand and said. This person was the manager in charge of the spaceships in this area. Because he had previously bought information from the secret pavilion, he had met the first elder once. Sure, but where are you going, first elder? That person still looked at the first elder and asked enthusiastically. After all, no one would be so blind as to offend the secret pavilion. We want to go to the bone-eroding mystic realm. I wonder if we can rent it? First elder looked at that person and slowly told him his destination. Yo, first elder, why are you going to such a dangerous place? After hearing this, the man's expression changed, but he quickly reacted. Shall we quickly go and see if there are any extra spaceships? Haha, first elder, please wait a moment. I'll give you an answer immediately. The boss said to the first elder with a smile. After a while, Shaoli ran over in a hurry. Shopkeeper, there are no more empty flying ships, but there is still a flying ship to the bone-eroding secret realm that is not full. The people on the ship said that we can share the ship. The person called Shaoli ran to the shopkeeper and said loudly. This? Hearing this news, the shopkeeper looked at the first elder and the others with a bad expression. First elder, it's not that I don't want to. It's just that I didn't expect that there would actually be no more. Then this, Aya, so be it if we want to share boats. What's the big deal? Xiao Changtian could also tell that the great elder wanted to rent a private car. These cultivators didn't know how precious gold coins were. How expensive would it be to rent a single boat? Now that they could share the boat, they could save a lot of gold coins. Since Senior has put it this way, then let's go and fight. The great elder thought that Xiao Changtian didn't want to, but he didn't expect that Xiao Changtian didn't care about these things. By the way, shopkeeper, who are the people on the ship? Looking at the shopkeeper, first elder asked again. Oh, there are those from the barbarian sect and the Misty Cloud sect. Xiao Li answered. Misty Cloud sect? Hearing this name, Xiao Changtian couldn't help but feel a sense of familiarity. Right, wasn't that the sect of Yunling that he knew in the Spirit God Mountain? Senior, what do you think? The first elder asked as he looked at Xiao Changtian. Of course you can. After all, Xiao Changtian wouldn't care so much. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 845, How could she take a fancy to a mortal? 1. Great Elder, please follow me. The shopkeeper looked at Xiao Changtian curiously. Who was this person? He actually made the great elder of the prophecy pavilion call him senior. However, it seemed that this person did not have any spiritual power at all. Everyone, this is the place. Great elder, if you have any other instructions in the future, feel free to contact me. After the shopkeeper brought the few of them over, he smiled and said, although he was very curious about the senior that the pavilion master of the secret pavilion had mentioned, he would not court death by asking about this senior's strength. At this moment, Xiao Changtian looked at the flying ship in front of him in shock. This is indeed the same as what I thought. Looking at the flying ship, Xiao Changtian muttered. The spaceship in front of him had a huge hull. The hull was as big as a mountain and there were countless rooms on it. Moreover, the hull looked extremely hard, and there were even a few cannons on it in case of any accidents. Such a huge flying ship was even bigger than Xiao Changtian had imagined. This really surprised Xiao Changtian. Let's hurry in. Xiao Changtian was very satisfied with this spaceship. At the same time, he thought that the inside of this spaceship must be better than he had imagined. Thus, they followed Xiao Changtian and boarded the spaceship. However, just as they were halfway there, they heard a disdainful shout. Great Elder, what's going on? How can I share a spaceship with a mortal? Aren't you insulting the way you are? A young male voice came from the spaceship. Young master, didn't you agree at the beginning? However, after hearing this, an old man said helplessly. I did agree, but you didn't tell me that there was a mortal besides the 5 sage sects. The male voice said impolitely again. I don't care. As long as that mortal comes up, you have to chase him down. This person was none other than the son of the sect master of the barbarian sect. This son had been pampered since he was young. He had always said that the wind was the wind and the rain was the rain. No one had ever dared to disobey him. However, the old man said helplessly, 5 sage sects. Eldest young master, that's not a joke. Hearing this, Xiao Changshan's face darkened. What was going on? How could this child discriminate against mortals like this? Did he really think that he was so great just because he was a cultivator? Senior, do you want me to teach him a lesson first? Hearing this, the first elder's expression changed. He didn't expect the barbarian sect to be so arrogant and dare to call him senior so brazenly. No need. After all, he's still a child. I don't want to argue with him. Xiao Changtian waved his hand. Initially, he was also very angry, but then he thought about it. He was only on the same spaceship as this person for a few days. Why was there a need to be happy? This time he would pretend that he did not hear anything. Seeing Xiao Changtian like this, the great elder silently mourned for the barbarian sect. He must have hated the barbarian sect, and the barbarian sect was doomed. Grand Elder. You actually didn't listen to me, humph. You'll tell father when we get back. At this moment, after the barbarian young master finished speaking, he returned to his room with a gloomy expression. The barbarian elder shook his head helplessly. He was only a sage sect, how could he compete with the 5 of them? Moreover, he still had a mission this time. Duh. While the barbarian elder was still in a daze, Xiao Changtian and the others stepped into the ship. Hello. The barbarian elder turned around and left after greeting them. That person is the great elder of the barbarian sect, and that kid is the son of the leader of the barbarian sect, Man Li. The great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets explained to Xiao Changtian as he watched the barbarian elder leave. Yes, barbarian sect. No wonder, Xiao Changtian nodded thoughtfully. The name of this barbarian sect didn't sound like it was easy to provoke. No wonder a young master could be so arrogant. This barbarian sect must have been used to being tyrannical. However, Xiao Changtian didn't care much about it. After all, he didn't have much to do with the barbarian sect. Just as they were about to walk in, The few people from the Misty Cloud sect walked up from the other side of the flying ship. Senior. The instant Yunling of the Misty Cloud sect saw Xiao Changtian, her eyes widened in shock. Before. Senior, why are you here? Seeing Xiao Changtian, Yunling was pleasantly surprised. She didn't expect to meet a senior here. It was simply too unexpected. Ah, I'm going to the bone-eroding mystic realm. I didn't expect you guys to go as well. Xiao Changtian greeted him politely. Although he didn't know why Yunling would call him senior since they met again, it meant that there was fate between the two of them. Senior, you're also going to the bone-eroding mystic realm. It just so happens that we're going too. It's our honor to be able to travel with you. After learning that Xiao Changtian was going to the bone-eroding secret realm, Yunling said excitedly. At this moment, the people behind Yunling were so surprised that their mouths were wide open. This was because Yunling had always been a cold goddess in everyone's hearts in the Misty Cloud sect. Within the Misty Cloud sect, he was a man of few words. He would never easily start a conversation with others and would even less easily smile at others. Now Yunling was talking and laughing as she looked at this mortal in front of her. She was completely different from the one they had seen at the Misty Cloud sect. Yes, Senior, I previously agreed to go and thank you. I didn't expect that I would be delayed by other matters midway. I haven't had the time yet and now I have a new mission. Yunling apologized to Xiao Changtian. There's no need for that. I already said that it was just a little effort. There's no need to thank me. Xiao Changtian waved his hand nonchalantly. Wasn't it just a random flower that he picked? He didn't expect this girl to remember it until now. This girl was obviously a good girl who knew how to be grateful. All right. Senior, I wonder what you're looking for in the bone-eroding mystic realm this time. Following behind Xiao Changtian, Yunling seemed to have endless words to say. What was wrong with Big Sister? Could it be that he was possessed? Everyone from the Misty Cloud sect spoke in disbelief as they looked at Yunling, who was following behind Xiao Changtian. That's right. That person looks like a mortal. Could it be that Big Sister has taken a fancy to that mortal? At this moment, a female cultivator in the crowd guessed. Don't talk nonsense. How is this possible? How could Big Sister like a mortal? That's right. If Sister Afang was still here, we wouldn't have to guess like this. Everyone looked at Yunling's back and discussed softly. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 846, The Detestable Manly, 1. I went to the bone-eroding mystic realm to look for the spirit tree seed. Xiao Changtian smiled at the enthusiastic Yunling's spirit tree seed. Yunling also knew a little about this thing. She didn't expect Senior to go to that place just to find a spirit tree seed. In that place, the spirit tree seed was insignificant compared to other things. I didn't expect Senior to go to such a dangerous place just to find a spirit tree seed. Yes. Looking at Yunling, Xiao Changtian gently nodded. Just like that, at night, the Barbarian sect, Misty Cloud sect and Xiao Changtian all gathered on the deck of the flying ship to eat dinner. Great Elder, who is that woman? Man Li, who was sitting at the dining table, looked at Yunling and said, replying to young master, that woman is the eldest disciple of the Misty Cloud sect, Yunling. Her strength is ranked first in the Misty Cloud sect. The Barbarian Elder looked at Man Li and replied, not bad. You're just right for me. Hearing the Barbarian Elder's reply, Man Li laughed loudly and said, Yunling, who was sitting far away, had long felt Man Li's gaze. Because of his gaze, Yunling felt a wave of disgust, and even the delicacies on the table instantly lost their appetite. You guys eat first. I'll go and get some fresh air first. Finally, Yunling couldn't stand the fierce gaze anymore. She said something to the people around her and left the table. Haha, First Elder, isn't this opportunity coming? Just wait and see how I take down this Yunling. After seeing Yunling leave, Man Li revealed a determined smile on his face. Yunling must have felt his passionate gaze, so she came out in a hurry to respond to him. Thus, Man Li followed Yunling, who was walking towards the other side of the spaceship. Phew, that person is really annoying. Yunling said as she walked to a place where there was no one around. Yunling had seen so many people before, so how could she not know what the Barbarian sect person meant? Usually Yunling hated this the most. Moreover, that person from the Barbarian sect had a wretched look on his face. He felt nauseous just looking at him. Haha, girl, are you waiting for your excellency? However, just as Yunling heaved a sigh of relief, a fierce voice sounded from behind her. Yo, why are you following me? Hearing the voice behind her, Yunling turned around and exclaimed, "Haha, Miss Yun, how can I not know what you mean? Aha, at least you have good taste. Follow me and I guarantee that you'll be able to eat and drink well in the barbarian sect." Manly looked at Yunling with a lewd smile. Although Yunling was cold and aloof, her figure was very hot. Although she was wrapped in a formal sect robe, her seductive figure could still be seen. Manly liked women like this the most. "You. I don't have any interest in you. Also, I'm afraid it's not good for a man and a woman to be together alone," Yunling said in disgust as she looked at Manly who was walking in front of her. "Don't be angry, Miss Yun. You have to know that you won't lose out if you follow me, Manly. I'm the eldest young master of the barbarian sect." Manly looked at Yunling, smiling as he gradually approached her. At this moment, Xiao Changtian walked to Yunling's table and looked at the empty seat. He asked curiously, "Have you seen Yunling?" "Oh, big sister said she went to get some fresh air, so she should have gone that way." After the person beside him finished speaking, he pointed the way for Xiao Changtian. "Thank you." Xiao Changtian smiled at her and walked towards that place. "Hey, junior sister, don't say it. That pretty boy is quite good looking. No wonder senior sister likes him." Looking at Xiao Changshan's departing figure, the cultivator from earlier smiled with a flushed face. "Hey, second senior sister, what's going on? That pretty boy belongs to senior sister. If you snatch him away, senior sister will be angry." Seeing the woman's attitude, the surrounding people teased her. They all knew that their big sister was not to be trifled with all day long. Moreover, she had been pure and had few desires for so many years. Now that she had finally found a gigolo, they would not be so tactless. "Tisk, isn't it just a pretty boy without cultivation? If I wanted to find him, I could find 10 of them." Second senior sister looked at everyone and said disdainfully. When the first elder and the others heard second senior sister's words, they glanced at her. There were 10 of them and she couldn't even find one. At this moment, Xiao Changtian slowly walked to where Yunling was. You despicable Manly, you actually used a hidden weapon on me." Yunling didn't expect that this Manly would actually plot against her. "Haha, Miss Yun, can't you just enjoy it?" Manly looked at Yunling with a lewd smile. "Don't worry and shout. I've already set up a barrier around here. No one can hear your shouts and no one can break through this barrier." Manly was determined to get Yunling in front of him. Although Manly was only in his teens, he had seen many women. He still liked Yunling very much. How despicable. Yunling was extremely terrified at this moment. She did not know what kind of forbidden spell Manly had cast on her that she could not even move. "Haha, stop struggling. No one will come to save you." Manly looked at Yunling with a smile and gradually approached her. "What are you trying to do, kid?" Just as Manly's hand was about to touch Yunling, Xiao Changshan's voice suddenly came from behind the two of them, causing Manly, who was about to attack, to jump in fright. You're just a mortal. How did you get in?" Looking at Xiao Changtian, Manly said angrily. This mortal actually dared to ruin his plans. Although he was very angry, Manly was still a little curious. How did this mortal break through his barrier? "You brat, I originally didn't care so much about you because you were young. I didn't expect you to be such a person." Looking at Manly's actions, Xiao Changtian was filled with anger. It was simply unbelievable that such a scene could actually appear here in broad daylight. This Manly, Xiao Changtian thought that he was young and didn't want to lower himself to his level. He didn't expect that this Manly was so mischievous. He had no morals and no bottom line. Today he wanted to educate Manly on behalf of his parents. "You're just a mortal. I advise you to mind your own business. Otherwise, don't blame me for throwing you off this spaceship." Looking at Xiao Changtian, Manly said threateningly. This was just a small mortal. As long as he wanted to make a move, this mortal would definitely die. "It's true that you're arrogant." Xiao Changtian looked at Manly's expression and his face was filled with anger. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 847, Saving Yunling, 1. Today, I will teach you a lesson on behalf of your parents. After Xiao Changtian finished speaking, he picked up the wooden stick beside him and was about to hit Manly's butt. "You mortal, you're simply lawless. Since you're like this, I'll let you see how powerful the barbarian young master is." Although Manly was only a saint master, he believed that this mortal would definitely die in his hands. After all, how could a mortal defeat a cultivator? However, just as Manly was thinking about how to make Xiao Changtian die a miserable death, the wooden stick in Xiao Changshan's hand came towards him. What happened? How could the wooden stick have such a powerful force? However, when Man Li, who was originally unconcerned, felt the sudden strong pressure from Xiao Changshan's rod, his face instantly turned pale. He trembled in disbelief and said, "Impossible. That was just an ordinary wooden stick, and the person in front of him was also a mortal." However, before Man Li could recover from his shock, the stick in Xiao Changshan's hand had already landed on his body. Aha dash! In an instant, Man Li One's blood-curdling scream rang out from the flying ship. Although Xiao Changshan's stick had landed on his butt, Man Li felt that Xiao Changshan's stick had shattered all his bones. His entire body felt as if a huge spaceship had crashed into him, and he was in great pain. Man Li, who was beaten by Xiao Changtian, fell to the ground, screaming and cursing. Due to the barrier that Man Li had set up, the people outside couldn't hear Man Li's screams. Therefore, Man Li could only lie on the ground and groan alone. "Monsieur, are you all right?" Seeing Man Li lying on the ground, Xiao Changtian snorted coldly and turned to look at Yunling. "Senior, I'm fine." Looking at Xiao Changtian, Yunling shook her head. "Thank you very much, Senior. If it wasn't for this Man Li's underhanded attack, how could he possibly be trapped by him? Fortunately, Senior came in time, or else he would really be finished. It's good that he's fine. This little bastard didn't learn well at such a young age. Don't worry. After eating my rod today, he should have learned his lesson." Seeing that Yunling was fine, Xiao Changtian nodded his head, then turned around and glared at Man Li, who was lying on the ground. He then left with Yunling. "Detestable mortals. Detestable mortals. How dare you treat me like this? My barbarian sect will not let you off." Looking at Xiao Changshan's back, Man Li angrily said. Because at this moment, the pain on Man Li's body had already made him lose his mind, so he didn't think too much about why this Xiao Changtian would use such a powerful force. He just wanted Xiao Changtian to pay the price. At this moment, outside the barrier. "Have you all seen young master?" The barbarian elder looked at the surrounding barbarian sect members and asked. Just now, Man Li said that he was going to take down that Yunling. Why was he still nowhere to be seen after such a long time? Young master seems to be heading towards that place. A member of the barbarian sect pointed in that direction and said. Just as they were looking at that place, Xiao Changtian walked out with Yunling. For some reason, the barbarian elder suddenly had a bad feeling when he saw this. "I'll go and see young master." After saying that, the first elder ran towards that place. Young master, how are you coming?" When he saw Man Li lying on the ground, the barbarian elder asked in panic. If something happened to Man Li following by his side, then the sect master would definitely not let him off easily when he returned. "Grand Elder. That damned mortal. I will definitely teach that damned mortal a lesson." Seeing the barbarian elder, Man Li shouted even louder. "Duke young master, your legs are, how can it be broken?" However, just as Elder Manny was about to help Man Li up, he felt that something was wrong with Man Li. "It's all because of that damned mortal. He actually dared to break my legs. First Elder, I want him to live a life worse than death." At this moment, Man Li's eyes were bloodshot. He looked at the place where Xiao Changtian had just left, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. Hearing Man Li's words, the barbarian elder was puzzled. Wasn't that a mortal? How could a mortal injure Man Li to such an extent? Did Man Li offend someone else again? "Young master, let me help you back to take a look at your injuries." With regards to Man Li's injuries, First Elder did not dare to delay any further. Immediately he brought Man Li back to his room. After a while, "Old Li, how are young master's injuries?" The First Elder asked with a serious expression as he looked at the doctor from the barbarian sect. "First Elder, who beat this young master to such a state?" Looking at the Great Elder, the doctor sighed and said, "Not only is young master's leg broken, but even his dantian is damaged. It was not difficult to repair his legs, but once his dantian was damaged, it would be very difficult to recover." After the doctor finished speaking, he even looked at Man Li on the bed sympathetically. How could this be? Hearing the doctor's words, the First Elder's expression instantly turned ugly. He had thought that it was just a broken leg. He did not expect it to be so serious. He had just left the sect not long ago. How could he explain it to the sect master when he returned? "Young master, who injured you so badly?" The First Elder looked at Man Li on the bed and asked seriously. He did not believe that a mortal would have such great ability to damage Man Li's dantian. "Great Elder, it's that detestable mortal. I told you to get rid of him from the beginning, but you were still unwilling. Just wait. Father will definitely not let you off easily when you go back." Manly said angrily. He also heard that his dantian had been damaged by that rod. If he wanted to repair it, he would have to suffer a lot. And all of this was because of that mortal. Young master, don't worry. I will definitely help you take revenge. First elder looked at Manly with a serious expression and said. He wanted to see just what kind of strength that mortal had. He actually dared to be so arrogant under his eyes. Even if that mortal had the protection of 5 sage sects, he would still have to find an opportunity to make a move. At this moment, Yunling was standing in front of Xiao Changtian with a bashful expression. Senior, thank you so much for today. If not for you, Linger would really be finished. Experiencing this thing, Xiao Changtian, in the Cloud Bell Heart status, again, straight line rise. Senior is not only powerful but also so attentive to himself. The key is long, still so beautiful. It was simply incomparable to those crooked melons and cracked dates that chased after him in the past. Miss Yun is just a small matter. Don't take it to heart. Xiao Changtian smiled and said. As for this matter, as long as they saw it, they would definitely help. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 847, Saving Yunling, 1. Today, I will teach you a lesson on behalf of your parents. After Xiao Changtian finished speaking, he picked up the wooden stick beside him and was about to hit Manli's butt. You mortal, you're simply lawless. Since you're like this, he'll let you see how powerful the barbarian young master is. Although Manly was only a saint master, he believed that this mortal would definitely die in his hands. After all, how could a mortal defeat a cultivator? However, just as Manly was thinking about how to make Xiao Changtian die a miserable death, the wooden stick in Xiao Changshan's hand came towards him. What happened? How could the wooden stick have such a powerful force? However, when Manly, who was originally unconcerned, felt the sudden strong pressure from Xiao Changshan's rod, his face instantly turned pale. He trembled in disbelief and said, Impossible. That was just an ordinary wooden stick, and the person in front of him was also a mortal. However, before Manly could recover from his shock, the stick in Xiao Changshan's hand had already landed on his body. Aha dash! In an instant, Manly One's blood-curdling scream rang out from the flying ship. Although Xiao Changshan's stick had landed on his butt, Manly felt that Xiao Changshan's stick had shattered all his bones. His entire body felt as if a huge spaceship had crashed into him, and he was in great pain. Manly, who was beaten by Xiao Changtian, fell to the ground, screaming and cursing. Due to the barrier that Manly had set up, the people outside couldn't hear Manly's screams. Therefore, Manly could only lie on the ground and groan alone. Miss Yun, are you alright? Seeing Manly lying on the ground, Xiao Changtian snorted coldly and turned to look at Yunling. Senior, I'm fine. Looking at Xiao Changtian, Yunling shook her head. Thank you very much, Senior. If it wasn't for this Manly's underhanded attack, how could he possibly be trapped by him? Fortunately, Senior came in time, or else he would really be finished. It's good that he's fine. This little bastard didn't learn well at such a young age. Don't worry. After eating my rod today, he should have learned his lesson. Seeing that Yunling was fine, Xiao Changtian nodded his head, then turned around and glared at Manly, who was lying on the ground. He then left with Yunling. Detestable mortals. Detestable mortals. How dare you treat me like this? My barbarian sect will not let you off. Looking at Xiao Changshan's back, Manly angrily said. Because at this moment, the pain on Manly's body had already made him lose his mind, so he didn't think too much about why this Xiao Changtian would use such a powerful force. He just wanted Xiao Changtian to pay the price. At this moment, outside the barrier. Have you all seen young master? The barbarian elder looked at the surrounding barbarian sect members and asked. Just now, Manly said that he was going to take down that Yunling. Why was he still nowhere to be seen after such a long time? Young master seems to be heading towards that place. A member of the barbarian sect pointed in that direction and said. Just as they were looking at that place, Xiao Changtian walked out with Yunling. For some reason, the barbarian elder suddenly had a bad feeling when he saw this. I'll go and see young master. After saying that, the first elder ran towards that place. Young master, how are you coming? When he saw Manly lying on the ground, the barbarian elder asked in panic. If something happened to Manly following by his side, then the sect master would definitely not let him off easily when he returned. Grand Elder. That damned mortal. I will definitely teach that damned mortal a lesson. Seeing the barbarian elder, Manly shouted even louder. Duke young master, your legs are, how can it be broken? However, just as Elder Manny was about to help Manly up, he felt that something was wrong with Manly. It's all because of that damned mortal. He actually dared to break my legs. First Elder, I want him to live a life worse than death. At this moment, Manly's eyes were bloodshot. He looked at the place where Xiao Changtian had just left, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. Hearing Manly's words, the barbarian elder was puzzled. Wasn't that a mortal? How could a mortal injure Manly to such an extent? Did Manly offend someone else again? Young master, let me help you back to take a look at your injuries. With regards to Manly's injuries, First Elder did not dare to delay any further. Immediately he brought Manly back to his room. After a while, Old Li, how are young master's injuries? The First Elder asked with a serious expression as he looked at the doctor from the barbarian sect. First Elder, who beat this young master to such a state? Looking at the great elder, the doctor sighed and said, not only is young master's leg broken, but even his dantian is damaged. It was not difficult to repair his legs, but once his dantian was damaged, it would be very difficult to recover. After the doctor finished speaking, he even looked at Manly on the bed sympathetically. How could this be? Hearing the doctor's words, the First Elder's expression instantly turned ugly. He had thought that it was just a broken leg. He did not expect it to be so serious. He had just left the sect not long ago. How could he explain it to the sect master when he returned? Young master, who injured you so badly? The First Elder looked at Manly on the bed and asked seriously. He did not believe that a mortal would have such great ability to damage Manly's dantian. Great Elder, it's that detestable mortal. I told you to get rid of him from the beginning, but you were still unwilling. Just wait. Father will definitely not let you off easily when you go back. Manly said angrily. He also heard that his dantian had been damaged by that rod. If he wanted to repair it, he would have to suffer a lot. And all of this was because of that mortal. Young master, don't worry. I will definitely help you take revenge. First Elder looked at Manly with a serious expression and said. He wanted to see just what kind of strength that mortal had. He actually dared to be so arrogant under his eyes. Even if that mortal had the protection of 5 sage sects, he would still have to find an opportunity to make a move. At this moment, Yunling was standing in front of Xiao Changtian with a bashful expression. Senior, thank you so much for today. If not for you, Linger would really be finished. Experiencing this thing, Xiao Changtian, in the Cloud Bell Heart status, again, straight line rise. Senior is not only powerful but also so attentive to himself. The key is long, still so beautiful. It was simply incomparable to those crooked melons and cracked dates that chased after him in the past. Miss Yun is just a small matter. Don't take it to heart. Xiao Changtian smiled and said. As for this matter, as long as they saw it, they would definitely help. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 849 Villages 1. That's right, Senior. That entrance should be a little north. The Great Elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets nodded in agreement. Although the Great Elder of the Prophecy Pavilion had never been to the bone-eroding mystic realm, he had more or less heard a lot of news about it over the years. Moreover, in this world of ice and snow, even navigation was useless. He could only rely on his experience. All right then, we'll head north. Xiao Changtian looked at them and nodded, then started to walk towards the north. As expected, not long after everyone left, a huge stone door could be vaguely seen in the endless snow in front of him. Look, it should be in front. Xiao Changtian shouted happily. Then the group of people did not hesitate and quickly walked towards the huge stone door. Everyone, let's pause for a moment. Xiao Changtian said loudly when they were about to reach the stone door. Senior, what's wrong? Everyone looked at him in confusion. Aya, is this pretty boy afraid? That's right. He's just a mortal. It's normal for him to say it. If this pretty boy is injured, then big sister will be unhappy. Seeing Xiao Changtian standing in front of the stone door at this moment, the group from the Misty Cloud sect stood in the distance and softly discussed. After all, in their hearts, how could a pretty boy with no strength be worthy of such an outstanding senior sister like them? Everyone calm down. I've also heard that the bone-eroding mystic realm this time is very dangerous. If you go in later, you must protect yourselves. Xiao Changtian looked at everyone and couldn't help but remind them. Although he felt that he was the one who needed protection the most, he still had to remind everyone. Tiske, I thought he was too scared to go in. The people from the Misty Cloud sect curled their lips and spoke after hearing Xiao Changshan's words. Standing in the distance, the people from the barbarian sect looked even more gloomy. Great Elder, I want go in first. I want to see Xiao Changshan's head when I come out. Manly slowly said to the barbarian elder. Yes, eldest young master. The barbarian elder did not refuse. It's just Xiao Changtian, I want to see what he can do. Then Xiao Changtian slowly walked into the stone door under everyone's gaze. Senior, that barbarian sect person seems to be watching us from behind. Should we go and deal with him? The great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets had already sensed the gazes of the barbarians behind him, but he was too embarrassed to say anything when he saw Xiao Changshan's indifference. And now he finally couldn't take it anymore. No need. Xiao Changtian shook his head at the great elder. After all, Manly had not done anything out of line ever since he had been beaten by Xiao Changtian. Moreover, Xiao Changtian did not want to provoke a sect for no reason. After hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets nodded slightly. So this was Senior's own plan. It seemed that this time the people from the barbarian sect would not be able to get rid of them. At this moment, the first elder silently mourned for the people of the barbarian sect in the sect. Xiao Changtian might not know, but the great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets knew very well. That barbarian sect was a tyrant in that place, and they often received news of their evil deeds. However, in the area around the barbarian sect was the strongest, so no one dared to interfere. He could only endure it silently. They could only say that they were unlucky to have met Senior. Senior had to teach the barbarian sect a lesson on behalf of those who had been hurt by the barbarian sect. However, when Xiao Changtian entered the stone door and saw the scene in front of him, his mouth was wide open in surprise. Just as everyone walked in, a warm aura assaulted their faces. What entered his eyes wasn't the snowy scene outside, but a green color with a strong vitality. After entering the stone door, the aura of the strong life force was as vast as the sea. Just by standing here, everyone could feel as if they were in an ocean of life, making their entire bodies feel comfortable. Is this place really a terrifying mystic realm? Even Xiao Changtian could feel the rich vitality of this place. Logically speaking, how could such a place be such a terrifying mystic realm? Look, there seems to be a small village below. Just as everyone was immersed in this huge vitality, someone suddenly said loudly, "Village." Xiao Changtian followed the man's gaze and saw a small village at the foot of the mountain. Seeing this scene, everyone present became vigilant. This place was none other than the terrifying bone-eroding mystic realm. There was actually a village in this place. Who would believe it if word got out? Although this village didn't look big and only had 100 people, it was filled with smoke and the sound of chickens and dogs barking. Even when they stood on the top of the mountain, they could see the villagers working. A village like this looked normal. There were villages like this everywhere in the Jade Lake's sacred world. However, this village had appeared in the bone-eroding mystic realm. It became extremely strange. Senior, should we go down now? Looking at the scene in front of him, the great elder of the Prophecy Pavilion frowned and asked. Because the only way to enter was to pass by that village, everyone had to go down and pass by that village. Yes, let's go down and see what's going on. Xiao Changtian was also curious as to why a manor would appear in such a dangerous secret realm. Everyone followed Xiao Changshan's footsteps and slowly walked down the mountain. What are you people doing? However, just as they reached the foot of the mountain, someone from the village stopped them. Aha, everyone, don't misunderstand. We're not here to disturb you. We're just passing by. Looking at the villagers in front of him, Xiao Changtian smiled at them. Passing by. However, the villager looked at Xiao Changtian and snorted coldly. We don't welcome outsiders here. Even if you're just passing by, please leave. The villager rejected Xiao Changtian without hesitation. Senior, there's something wrong with these people. The pavilion master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets looked at the villager and said with a serious expression. This was because these people's movements were like machines. It was as if they had been deliberately arranged. Even their expressions were exactly the same. Senior, let me test you. Yun Ling, who was beside him, picked up the sword in her hand and stabbed the villager in front of her. Bang! Sure enough, just as Yun Ling was about to stab the villager suddenly disappeared from where he was. Not good, look ahead. However, just as Yun Ling was in a daze, more villagers ran out from the village in front of her. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.